Greece. Land of ancient villages. Land of enchanted islands. Land of art and tradition. The warm sun caresses blue domes. A stray cat moves silently through narrow alleys. The azure sea laps against endless coastlines. Welcome to Greece. Welcome to the country with the highest number of islands in Europe. Here, the blue of the sea meets the white of marble. Millennia of history are preserved in approximately 6,000 islands, and sunlight shines for over 250 days a year. But let's start from the beginning. Hellas, as its inhabitants call it, is a name that still resonates around the world through the myths, philosophy, and art it has gifted to humanity. The country is a mosaic of wonders compressed into a space that surprises with its diversity, yet relatively small size. Here, golden beaches alternate with dramatic cliffs, while rugged mountains guard lush valleys, and white villages cling to impossible slopes like pearls sewn onto a dress. It is in this setting that over 6,000 islands and islets are distributed, of which only 227 are inhabited, giving Greece the European record for the number of islands. Geographically, indeed, Greece can be grouped into several zones, starting with the continental part, with its important cities like Athens and Thessaloniki. Then there are the famous Cyclades Islands, with Santorini and Mykonos among the most iconic and well-known destinations. Next we have Crete, the largest island in the country, and the Ionian Islands with Corfu and Zakynthos stand out as top tourist destinations. Finally, we find other island regions such as the Dodecanese, the Sporades, and the islands of the Saronic Gulf. It is precisely this archipelago of dreams that shapes one of the most extensive coastlines in Europe, with its 13,000 kilometers of coast dotted with villages and small towns, each with its own identity and soul to reveal. Continuing in this natural setting, Greece also distinguishes itself with its enviable Mediterranean climate, with areas like Rhodes and Crete enjoying a full 300 days of sunshine per year, making it one of the sunniest nations in Europe. And its richness doesn't end there. Rather, it manifests in every corner. From the peaks of Mount Olympus, which was the ancient dwelling of the gods, to the marine depths that preserve ancient shipwrecks, passing through skies crossed by countless migratory birds, and finally arriving at the cats, which especially on the islands have become an iconic part of the Greek landscape. Moreover, along the hills of the Peloponnese and Thessaly, olive trees extend as far as the eye can see, making Greece the world's third largest producer of this precious fruit, a testament to an ancient tradition that has shaped not only the landscape, but also the culture and gastronomy of the country. Another fundamental characteristic of this nation is that it hosts more archaeological sites and museums than any other country in the world. A veritable journey that crosses epochs and places among majestic ruins and stories that seem never to end. Here, furthermore, Greek identity is deeply rooted, and indeed 98% of the population is of Greek ethnicity, making the country one of the most homogeneous in Europe. But Greece has many other secrets that deserve to be discovered. For example, from the waters of the Aegean Sea emerges Santorini, which is not just an island of incomparable beauty with its white houses and blue domes, but the dramatic result of a volcanic eruption that occurred about 3,600 years ago, which partially destroyed what was once a much larger island. Continuing, even the flavors of this land are as intense and authentic as its history. In Greek tavernas, olive oil blends with spreadable cheeses, aromatic herbs, and fresh produce, in a mix of Mediterranean flavors. The frappe, which is a particularly popular cold shaken coffee during the hot summer months, is more than a beverage. Rather, it's a ritual that marks the days in one of the nations with the highest coffee consumption in the world. Finally, this land is also a place where symbols have deep meaning, like the national flag, whose 9 stripes represent the 9 syllables of the motto, freedom or death, a powerful reminder of the country's history of struggle and independence. Greece, therefore, is much more than a simple country. It's an entire world, a place that continues to tell its ancient story to anyone who has eyes to see and a heart to feel. But now, let's discover the most incredible and iconic places of this nation. Crete. Crete emerges from the Mediterranean like an independent kingdom, the largest island in Greece. Here, the Minoan civilization was born, in a past so remote that it blends with myth. The Palace of Naxos reveals its secrets through intricate corridors and frescoes that tell a forgotten story. The Symi Gorge cuts through the land for 16 kilometers, creating a path that challenges hikers between rock walls and wild flora. Crystal clear waters lap against Elefonici, where the sand turns pink at sunset, while the Balos Lagoon creates a mosaic of blue that merges with the sky. The island's culinary tradition transforms simple ingredients, oil pressed from century-old olive trees, herbs gathered from the mountains, wines produced from native vines, into dishes that have earned top rankings in longevity charts. Corfu. Sentinel of the Adriatic, it distinguishes itself from other Greek islands with its rich vegetation and Venetian influence. The Old Town, with its twin fortresses and Italian-style palaces, reflects centuries of foreign rule. The Aquileion, a neoclassical palace commissioned by Empress Symi of Austria, offers a panoramic view of the island. The beaches of Corfu, on the other hand, from the famous Paleokastritsa to the remote Porto Timoni, offer a variety of landscapes with rocky coves and sandy stretches. The interior, finally, with its centuries-old olive groves and isolated villages, invites visitors to discover authentic Corfeo life, away from the most beaten tourist routes. Santorini. It stands out as one of the most spectacular natural wonders of the Mediterranean. The cliffs overlooking the sea, covered with characteristic white villages, offer incredible panoramas that have made the island one of the most photographed destinations in the world. Ia, located on the northern tip of the island, is renowned for its extraordinary sunsets, considered among the most beautiful on the planet. Its labyrinthine streets are dotted with white blue-domed houses, luxury boutiques, and panoramic restaurants, creating a magical and romantic atmosphere. The restored windmills and Byzantine churches add a touch of historical charm to this characteristic village. Fiera, instead, is the lively capital of the island and clings to the edge of its caldera, offering incredible views of the volcano and the sea. With its numerous bars, restaurants, and shops, it is the beating heart of Santorini, particularly animated at sunset and in the evening hours. Mykonos. Defined as the island of wind, it is renowned for its vibrant nightlife and golden beaches. Having transformed from a humble fishing community to an internationally famous tourist destination, the island has maintained its characteristic Greek charm. The iconic 16th century windmills dominate the skyline, while Little Venice, with its houses featuring colorful balconies overlooking the sea, evokes the atmosphere of the Italian lagoon city. The town, also known as Cora, is a maze of narrow and winding streets, originally designed to confuse pirates. Today, these streets are dotted with fashionable boutiques, art galleries, gourmet restaurants, and trendy bars. Finally, beaches like Paradise and Super Paradise are famous for their beach clubs and parties that last from sunset until dawn. Kefalonia. The largest of the Ionian Islands, captures attention with its varied landscapes and compelling history. The clear waters of Myrtis Beach, nestled between high cliffs, have become a symbol of the island. Melisani's underground lake, instead, with its cave featuring a collapsed ceiling, offers a surreal spectacle of light playing on water. Mount Enos, covered with endemic black firs, dominates the interior landscape. Finally, the coastal villages like Assos and Fiskardo preserve traditional Greek charm, despite the devastating earthquake of 1953. The island therefore certainly manages to enchant with its wild beauty and relaxed atmosphere. Lefkada. Connected to the mainland by a swing bridge, it offers a rare balance in Greece: the convenience of direct car access and the preservation of pristine landscapes typical of more remote islands. Its western beaches, like Portokatsiki and Agremni, are considered among the most spectacular in Greece, with turquoise waters that contrast with white cliffs. The mountainous interior, instead, offers opportunities for hiking and mountain biking, with panoramic views of the surrounding islands. The capital, Lefkada town, with its colorful buildings and Byzantine churches, preserves the charm of an authentic Greek city. The island is also renowned for water sports, particularly windsurfing and kite surfing, thanks to the constant winds that lash its coasts. Zakynthos. It's an island of contrasts, blending natural beauty and vibrant nightlife. Shipwreck Bay, with its merchant vessel that ran aground in the 1980s during a storm while smuggling cigarettes, has transformed into an unintentional symbol of the island. With the rusted hull resting on white sand, surrounded by towering limestone cliff walls. The Blue Caves, moreover, on the northern coast offer a unique snorkeling experience, with intensely blue waters that reflect light in surprising ways. The island is also an important nesting site for Crete sea turtles, protected in the National Marine Park. Finally, the mountain villages in the interior, like Valheim's, preserve local traditions, offering a profound contrast with the lively coastal locations, like Lefkada's, home to nightlife, on par with Mykonos for millions of young tourists. Naxos. The largest of the Cyclades, stands out for its landscape diversity. The island boasts fertile valleys, imposing mountains, and golden beaches that extend for kilometers. Its interior, dotted with traditional villages, offers an authentic glimpse of Greek life. The Portara, an imposing marble gate dating back to the 6th century BC, dominates the port, symbolizing the rich past of the island. Naxos is also renowned for its local products, particularly cheese and kitron, a citrus liqueur. This Cycladic gem harmoniously blends history, nature, and culinary traditions. Paros. Heart of the Cyclades, has as its strengths its characteristic landscapes and clear waters. The island is famous for its production of local wines, particularly the prestigious white Monasteries, cultivated in traditional terrace vineyards. The village of Naxos, on the other hand, with its harbor and winding alleys, embodies the essence of insular Greece. Further inland, we find the villages of Marpisa, Prodromos, and the capital Parga, which tell different stories of the island among cubic whitewashed houses, narrow winding streets, Byzantine churches, and windmills that dot the hills like sentinels of the past. Finally, the island's beaches, such as Golden Beach, attract water sports enthusiasts from around the world. The island offers a perfect balance between cosmopolitan atmosphere and tranquility, making it an ideal destination for those seeking both relaxation and vibrancy. Other Cycladic islands. The minor Cyclades, each with its own distinctive personality, offer an authentic Aegean experience, far from the mass tourism of the more famous islands. Amorgos, with its dizzying cliffs and the Hozoviatissa monastery embedded in the rock, embodies the Greek mystical spirit. The island, made famous by the film Le Grand Bleu, attracts nature and spirituality lovers, with clear waters that are a paradise for diving enthusiasts. Tinos, an important Greek Orthodox pilgrimage center, amazes with its over 50 characteristic villages, and for the local artists who keep alive the tradition of marble and stone craftsmanship. Milos instead is known for having given birth to the famous Venus de Milo, and fascinates with its unique rock formations and multicolored waters. Its beaches, each with distinctive characteristics, range from white sands to obsidian cliffs. Delos, finally, is tiny, uninhabited, but a UNESCO archaeological site and transports visitors to ancient Greece. Considered the birthplace of Apollo and Artemis, it is a vast open-air museum with well-preserved temples, houses, and mosaics, testifying to its historical importance as a religious and commercial center of the Aegean. Rhodes. Located in the easternmost part of the Dodecanese archipelago, this island emerges from the eastern Mediterranean as a world unto itself, being the largest of this archipelago, where history and nature compete for primacy. Its territory changes face from north to south, from the medieval capital to the hidden bays of the western coast to the sandy expanses of Prasonisi, where two seas meet, creating a spectacle of currents and surfers. The pine forests, instead, cover the mountains in the interior of the island, creating a microclimate that contrasts with the aridity of the coast, offering excursions among freshwater springs and panoramic views that embrace the entire archipelago. The The main city, called Rhodes town, is surrounded by walls and bastions that defy time and preserves a network of small streets that still today tell the story of the knights who governed it. The island, moreover, narrates 80 years of Italian occupation through buildings that seem transported from a Tuscan square, testimony to a colonial past that has left indelible marks on the landscape and local culture. Symi. Hidden jewel of the Dodecanese, enchants with its neoclassical architecture and crystal-clear waters. The main port, Hielos, presents itself as an amphitheater of pastel-colored houses that climb up the hills. This small island, famous in the past for sponge fishing and boat building, today attracts visitors seeking authenticity and tranquility. The monastery of Panormitis, dedicated to the Archangel Michael, is a pilgrimage destination and spiritual center of the island. While the remote beaches, accessible mainly by sea, offer an intimate and unspoiled bathing experience. Other islands of the Dodecanese. The Dodecanese archipelago also offers less-known gems, but equally fascinating. Patmos, the island of the Apocalypse, combines spirituality and panoramas with the monastery of St. John dominating the horizon and the historic cave of the Apocalypse, attracting pilgrims from around the world. Nisyros, a volcanic island, surprises with its active crater that can be explored, and the characteristic white villages like Mandraki and Nikia, offering a unique experience among lunar landscapes and traditional architecture. Kos, the home of Hippocrates, harmoniously blends significant archaeological sites with golden beaches and a vibrant nightlife, attracting both history enthusiasts and vacationers seeking relaxation. Other noteworthy islands include Kalymnos, famous for its sponge fishermen and rock walls that attract climbing enthusiasts. Leros, with its unusual Art Deco architecture, and Carpathos, which preserves ancient traditions and customs, especially in the mountain village of Olympus. Athens. The Greek capital blends the weight of history with the incessant beat of modern life. The Acropolis rises at the center of the city, with the Parthenon that has been observing the streets below for millennia. This ancient temple, dedicated to the goddess Athena, is just one of the many historical sites carved in stone that dot the city. The new Acropolis Museum, for example, breaks the mold with contemporary lines that house relics of a vanished world, while the Plaka district, with its labyrinthine streets and outdoor cafes, offers a dive into the most authentic Greek atmosphere. But Athens is also a city of contemporary culture, with an emerging art and music scene, vibrant markets, and a gastronomy absolutely not to be underestimated. Meteora. In the heart of continental Greece, Meteora emerges from the earth, like a vision that defies reality. This UNESCO heritage tells the human story through monasteries suspended on pillars of rock, reachable only by those who face stairs carved into the stone, or rely on cable cars. The monasteries dominate the space between sky and valley, with a simply magnificent view from the top, creating the image of a world where spirituality has sought refuge in the impossible. Beyond its undisputed spiritual and historical value, Meteora is a paradise for hiking and climbing enthusiasts, offering numerous trails that wind between the huge rocks. For tourists who instead want to go beyond the natural landscape, there are a rich variety of souvenir shops, cafes with panoramic views, and guided tours that tell the history and culture of this unique place. Parga. Parga occupies a bay in Greek Epirus, built in such a way that houses painted with soft colors are reflected in the waters of the Ionian Sea. The Venetian castle, perched on the hill, watches over the city and offers magnificent panoramas of the surrounding islands. Walking through the alleys that squeeze between stone walls, where taverns and artisan shops compete for space, one descends towards the port, where the fishing tradition coexists with the luxurious vessels of the present. The beaches of Valtos and Lichnos, instead, are distinguished by white pebbles that shine under the sun, while the interior, rich in olive groves and freshwater springs, offers excursions in unspoiled nature. When the sun sets finally, the promenade transforms into a corridor of lights and music, from traditional taverns to modern bars, creating a mosaic of experiences in this corner of Greece where natural elements and human history have found balance. Delphi. Ancient seat of the Oracle of Apollo, embodies the mysticism and spirituality of ancient Greece. Located on the slopes of Mount Parnassus, this UNESCO World Heritage archaeological site was considered by the ancient Greeks to be the center of the world. The Temple of Apollo, heart of the sanctuary, dominates the landscape, while the theater and stadium offer an extraordinary view of the valley below. The atmosphere of the place, charged with history and legend, continues to emanate an aura of mystery, transporting tourists on a journey through time. The surrounding landscape, instead, with its centuries-old olive groves and imposing mountains, adds a dimension of natural beauty to this site of immense historical and cultural importance. Mount Olympus. Legendary dwelling of the gods of ancient Greece, it rises majestically in the north of the country, challenging the sky with its 2,917 meters of altitude. This massif, declared a national park in 1938, offers a unique ecosystem with over 1,700 plant species, some of which are endemic. Its slopes, covered with forests of pines, beeches, and firs, host a rich fauna, including deer, bears, and eagles. For hikers, the ascent to the summit represents an exciting challenge, rewarded by idyllic panoramas that range from the Aegean to the mountains of Macedonia. Thessaloniki. It is a hidden gem of the Mediterranean, which harmoniously blends ancient and modern. The city bears the marks of those who have governed it over the centuries, from Imperial Rome to the Byzantine Empire to Ottoman expansion, creating an urban puzzle where historical periods share the same space. The White Tower, symbol of the city, dominates the waterfront, offering panoramic views. The Ano Pali district, instead, with its traditional houses, contrasts with the vibrant nightlife and gastronomic scene that animate the center. Less touristy than other Greek destinations, Thessaloniki breathes culture without showcasing it. From archaeological finds preserved in museums to contemporary artistic expressions, which find space in galleries. This city moves to the rhythm of a forgotten Europe, where history is not preserved for tourists, but lived daily by those who inhabit it. Nafplio. Considered one of the most romantic cities in Greece, Nafplio carries in its streets the weight of having been the first capital of modern Greece, a title it held until 1834 when Athens took command. The city develops as a port protected by Venetian walls, where the path between stone alleys reveals neoclassical buildings and welcoming bars and restaurants. One of its main attractions is the Palamidi Fortress, which dominates the skyline from the top of the hill and is reachable via a staircase that counts almost 1,000 steps. Nafplio is also known for its vibrant artistic and cultural scene, with numerous museums, galleries, and theaters that enrich the tourist experience. Monemvasia. Nicknamed the Gibraltar of Greece, this medieval fortress city rises on a rocky islet connected to the Peloponnese by a thin strip of land. Tourists arriving by sea discover Monemvasia only at the last moment, when the rock reveals its secret, which is a city embedded in stone. The stone paths where no vehicle has ever circulated lead between ancient walls and Byzantine places of worship, climbing towards the upper citadel where the remains of the fortifications frame the infinite blue of the Aegean. Among the alleys, felines reign undisturbed, seeking shelter from the sun under the bougainvillea, while the air carries scents of wild plants and the sound of bells. Moreover, the local production of wines, particularly the renowned Malvasia, offers tourists the opportunity to taste unique flavors, the fruit of an ancient wine tradition that has its roots in history. Lindos, a city that occupies a bay where the sea takes on different shades depending on the sunlight. Its white houses climb up the hill, culminating in the imposing Acropolis, a silent witness that has been observing the Aegean Sea for centuries. The winding streets, instead too narrow for cars, invite one to get lost among boutiques, taverns, and flowery courtyards. And then there is St. Paul's Beach, which is framed by cliffs but offers a refuge of golden sand in transparent waters. In this corner on the island of Rhodes, history and daily life know no separation, capturing those who arrive with an experience that tells of authentic Greece through the contrast between the blinding sun, the marine horizon that is lost, and the people who welcome every tourist as part of the community. Kavala. Important port of northern Greece, stands out for its rich historical stratification and its suggestive panorama. The city, built like an amphitheater on the Gulf of Kavala, is dominated by the imposing Byzantine fortress, a silent witness to centuries of history. The ancient quarter, with its well-preserved Ottoman houses and narrow paved alleys, offers a fascinating glimpse into the city's past. The Kamares Aqueduct, a majestic work from the Ottoman era, crosses the historic center, giving the city a unique profile. The beaches of the area also attract tourists with their very clear waters. It is also an ideal starting point for exploring the region of Eastern Macedonia and Thrace, and harmoniously blends history, culture, and natural beauty. Hydra. In the Saronic Gulf, this city impresses with its preserved architecture and the absence of motor vehicles. The island maintains its 19th century character with elegant sea captains' mansions overlooking the amphitheater-shaped port. Donkeys and boats are the only means of transport, creating a timeless atmosphere. A sanctuary for those seeking silence and authenticity, Hydra hides secluded coves, underwater seascapes to explore, and paths through the hills that reveal panoramas where the blue of the sea meets the profile of the surrounding islands. Its charm and tranquility, therefore, make it an ideal refuge from modern frenzy. Epidaurus. Famous in antiquity for its sanctuary dedicated to Asclepius, the god of medicine, it now attracts visitors for its extraordinary ancient theater. This architectural masterpiece of the 4th century BC, known for its perfect acoustics, can accommodate up to 14,000 spectators. The ingenious design allows even the slightest whisper from the orchestra to be clearly heard, up to the last row. The archaeological site also includes the ruins of the Temple of Asclepius and the ancient hospital, while in summer the theater relives its ancient splendor, hosting performances of classical dramas at the Epidaurus Festival. Corinth Canal. The Corinth Canal, an engineering marvel cut between the blue waters of the Gulf of Corinth and the Saronic Gulf, is an astounding example of how humans can transform the natural landscape. This narrow canal, excavated through solid rock, allows ships to pass from the Aegean Sea to the Ionian Sea, significantly cutting navigation times. Its steep rock walls, which rise majestically from both sides, create an impressive visual effect, almost as if the waters themselves were suspended in air. Navigating through this canal is an almost surreal experience, a journey between the ancient lands of a country rich in history and myths. Concluding this visual journey through Greece, we have moved from the charm of its most exciting landscapes to the most celebrated icons of its cities and islands, discovering together not only places, but also curiosities that make every corner of this country unique. We hope that the images and stories told have enriched your knowledge and stimulated the desire to personally explore the varied beauty of this nation.